Take one.
You're watching the Questionnaire podcast.
What can they say?
You are checking out the Questionnaire.
What's your name again?
The Questionnaire.
Would you like to have questions?
I don't got it. I'm not that guy.
Submit yourself.
Super fun and entertaining.
This is the Questionnaire.
Still at it? Yeah, of course we're still at it. This is the Questionnaire, and it's season 3. Season 3 has been phenomenal. It's rolling. Shout out to Larry. Larry, I love you, man. As you're editing this, I love you, man. I do. You have made it to where this is striving. I mean, not just him, really. I gotta shout out Scott. I gotta shout out Shiro. I gotta shout out Chrissy. The people that really have been behind the show, and then everyone we've had on to co-host. And you know that? I think Doug's co-hosted. Has Doug co-hosted? That's funny. I swear he's co-hosted at least once. I know he's been on several PanCons as well as he's been on season 3, season 2, season 1. Man, Doug Wagner is a great, mighty individual, right? And he introduced us to someone. Yeah, because, you know, sometimes I scroll social media. And if I follow you, I might see something that you post from some other creator, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then I'll hit up that creator, and this happens, right? And then you go on a quest. It's a hell of an adventure, yeah, with Rebecca Lee Gardner. How you doing?
Good, thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure, Becca. It is. I think, and we were discussing this before we started, but it's the whole thing. I didn't close that tab, did I? I'd have been annoyed, right? Like I said, I see posts and things just pique my eye, and I just want to dig right into this because I have to know where this idea came from. My brain does. And I see, and it's not surprising of all people, Doug Wagner shares this, right? Bleep, blurp, murder. Firstly, like, I know what it, just tell the people initially as far as what it is. I'm going to let you say it in your own words because I know it sounds, I need to read this.
Yes. So Bleep Blurp Murder is a middle grade novel. It's aimed at kids like 9 to 13. And it's essentially a robot apocalypse that takes over a school and starts changing technology into hybrids. So it's like, you know, drones are dropping mashed potatoes, calculators are turning into, you know, cockroaches, and the kids are all trying to keep the robots in while the adults outside figure it out. So it was inspired by my son, my oldest son, who's on a robotics team. And last year he brought home his robot the night before a competition. And these teams, they're like teams of 4 kids. And when you get to a competition, you collaborate with another team. And so he brings his robot home and takes it entirely apart. Like I'm talking, it looks like just Legos vomited on the carpet, right? and then it's like 10 o'clock and my husband and I are like, dude, like, your team's expecting a robot tomorrow. Like, you got to drive something. And so we stayed up to like 1 or 2 in the morning, just like putting together something. And we get to the competition the next day and there's a robot and it works kind of. And we're watching like the final match. And all of a sudden I turned to my friend sitting next to me. I was like, wouldn't it be so funny if the robots that are working together right now, like pause, turn towards the edges of the arena and then start attacking people? And she's like, oh, that would be a book. And I was like, oh, hold on, actually. And before I got to the parking lot, I knew it was going to be called Bleep Blurp Murder, and the next day I started.
You know, with the way things are currently headed in society, I don't like that book anymore.
Yeah, when I sign the book, I write, be nice to robots. So, you know, it's good. Be nice to robots. It's a fun one.
I don't know what to say to that. Look, because I've always had the more base opinion to technology. And look, it should do what I tell it to. It's a tool, not a person, right? So I don't want a robot that could think. I want it to do what I tell it to. It's a tool, not a person, right? I want to be able to communicate with a person and, like, you know, let's make things kosher. I want to have to do that with a robot. I have enough problems having to deal with human beings already. You want to add robots in the mix of that? Yeah. Now, I will say the people that were just, I don't know if you've seen this video where they're like just kicking over, I think it's one of the robotic dogs, just see if they can knock it over. It might have been a full drone, like of a human. I don't know. Have you seen that video I'm talking about?
No, I haven't.
They're just trying to kick it over again and again and again. And I'm like, well, that's just rude. But at the same time, I think they were just testing the stability of it and seeing what it could and could not recover from. I don't want to have to be nice to robots. No.
I'd like to be nice to everyone. It's just a good rule of thumb. But robots are on the list.
Okay, that's fair. And I agree in the capacity of that. Now, what I mean, though, right, is if the thing's sitting there screwing up 30,000 times, I don't want to have to worry about its emotions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like that's what I mean when I say I don't want to have to worry about me. I'm not going to be the dude that just kicks the robot for no reason. That made me look bad. The show is over.
This is kicking robots. That's fine.
Sheesh.
We'll see how you handle the apocalypse.
Look, I like robot chicken. All right.
Yes.
Jeez, oh, Pete. Like I don't know. And like I said, because AI is a discussion we've had a lot. Do you worry about that? Do you worry about that as someone that writes novels that AI could take your job?
I don't worry about it. And here's the reason, because I write novels because it's a way of connecting my soul to someone else's, right? And it's supposed to be imperfect, and it's supposed to be raw, and it's supposed to be all those things. And I've had friends who came up to me like, hey, Becca, like, what if you could never make a living unless you used AI? Would you use AI? And I said no, because there's nothing in creating a book with AI that is fulfilling to me. And if I wanted to be rich and famous, I wouldn't have gone into being an author. So it's not the easiest way to do that. So if writing a book is not in and of itself joyful, then I would stop doing it. So I will continue to write books because it's joyful, and I think that it's important to connect souls together. I think that's what art does. And so yeah, I'm not so worried. I think honestly, I think it's gonna be kind of like when Netflix started. This is maybe a crude comparison, but when we first got Netflix, I watched everything. Like I binged everything, and now 6 different people have to recommend a show before I will even watch the trailer, because I burned myself so bad, right? And so just because there's like a quantity of content doesn't mean that we want a quantity of content, right? There will be a time where more discerning audience will arise and just say, I want something that is more quality. And I think that's what we're kind of facing. So I'm not worried. I'm worried for some industries and some friends that are struggling. But for me, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and enjoying writing novels. So
I love that answer so much, especially just the part of when you're writing a book, you're trying to connect a part of your soul to someone else's, just to spread, and it should be imperfect. And I think those are important things that I think it bothers me personally, because I do hip hop as well as I run this show, so I deal with 2 very different communities that it's funny because people, like, they're both very intertwined as far as the hip hop and comic book community. And there's a lot, like, I just had Adam on, who's Illis. Like, he's an artist that does hip hop. You know what I mean? He's an illustrator and he does hip hop. So there's a cross between those that's really hard. But I think there's an interesting aspect that I've seen from the hip hop side of things where they're quick to accept the AI art. And I think it has in part to do with there are a lot of people that are like, look, I don't want to pay for a cover to be done when I can have this thing generate something 3,000 times. So I think it's intriguing. And I think what you said is just very important, because I think those same musicians would say, I put this music out so part of my soul can connect with someone else's. You know what I mean?
Right.
I swear, if I haven't made a single TikTok off season 3, I'm about to make your whole rant that you just went on about AI, because it was beautiful, Becca. I'm serious. Like that is because look, I know people like artists and illustrators. I know people that are angry real quick if you bring up AI art, which is understandable because
Right.
it's affecting their livelihood. But that one, oh, I love it. You kind of got me with that one. I ain't even gonna lie. Right? So
Yeah.
let's just switch gears. I don't even want to talk about AI no more. But you might get brought back on this show way sooner than you expected.
Okay.
I'm gonna be real honest, based on something else I was planning and based on something else I was planning. But that's a different conversation. If you want to see
Sure.
a phenomenal conversation for everybody out there watching about streaming, check out streaming and its effects on society and entertainment. That is stacked. There's like a whole group, man, and it is a lovely conversation we have from somebody that in TV, somebody in film, like comic creators. It's an awesome conversation to realize what that's done, and it makes me realize the similarities between that and that. But I don't care about that anymore. What do you got Adventure Cats for?
Oh, Adventure Cats is like a blend of a choose your own adventure book with D&D cats. So I know, right? Everyone wanted this. So essentially at the end of chapter 3, all 5 fantasy heroes get changed into cats and scattered across the land. And at that point you get to pick which cat you follow to the end of the story. So you could just pick one cat and have a full story, or you can read all 5 cats and kind of get the like little Easter eggs and a larger meta plot that kind of I pieced together. So it again sprang from my kids, one of which rereads the same book 50 different times, and I was like, well, let's create a book that's meant to be reread, because there's so much literacy and comprehension that is built from kids rereading things. And the second thing is, with the same kiddo, we read some Choose Your Own Adventure Star Wars books, and every night we killed Han Solo. Like, every freaking night. It was such a bummer. We were like, it was like, how did we kill Han and Chewie again? We did it again. And so I wanted to create a choose your own adventure framework that didn't involve killing people or failure, right? That like sort of discouragement. It's like you can pick, and then we get to go on a little adventure, and then you get to pick again, and there's no wrong answer. So that's what choose your own adventure is.
I need real quick. I need a number of how many times did you kill Han and Chewie?
Oh, so many. Like, the book is not big, but probably 15 times. I think we picked every wrong answer at least once. So, yeah.
This is going to sound really funny because I know I'm Jay Clark, aka the Unknown Factor. But if I had Jay Clark on here, who you can catch co-hosting with Mark McKenna, right back one episode, he would be very offended that you killed Han and Chewie that many times. I guarantee, man, because he loves Star Wars like 15 times. Pick a different story.
I know.
What's wrong with you, right? But what did it go?
I don't know.
Just excessive, man. Jeez.
It wasn't intentional. It's just
Sure.
bad luck.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
love Han and Chewie. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I just make bad decisions. That's your next TikTok bite.
So back to Cat Adventure. Perfect segue.
Yes.
What was it like building that book based on the fact that you wanted to make it to where it was? You said 5 characters, correct?
Yeah, 5
Okay.
characters.
So you took them from being humans to cats, and then you end up making it to where you're separating the story, but you're making it to where there are Easter eggs within. How many pages is that book?
Like 265.
Okay. What was the building process of that? Like, did you have an idea of the beginning and the end? Or was it, like, what was your process with that? Because you're writing 5
Right.
different stories that are the same story, which is very comic book of you, I want to point out.
Yeah. I mean, I did a little time with comics, which is how Doug and I met, but we'll just put a pin in that. So the structure was really interesting. It's like writing 5 short stories with a frame narrative. And what was fun about it is that if I would intentionally like lose a piece. Like, for instance, a cat and his like little sidekick are following this orc horde, and then the horde disappears. And they're like, what happened to it? Right? But they continue on their journey. And I did that on purpose so that I could pick up that orc horde in another cat's story, right? So it's very like, it was just so much fun to write. I'm already planning the next one. I think it's going to be an entire series of cat adventures. Maybe even blended in different genres, because I just thought of cats and cat adventures in space, and I think I got to do that too. So, yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for saying space. That's all,
Yes.
because you said different genres, and all I thought was like, I need some sci-fi then. And you just
Yeah. I think I need cats in space as well. So just, I'm just gonna put cats wherever I need them to be. But it was such a fun story to write. It was a pain in the butt to edit. That was a whole different adventure. But to write was joyful for sure.
what was okay? Yeah, because what was the editing process on that? Because I mean, so when you break this book up, you're saying it gets to the point where you can then choose a cat, so is it just here's the section of this cat, here's the section of this cat, or is it okay? I didn't know if you did that or if you made it to where you had to jump around more.
Flip around.
Yeah.
No, I like my sanity, so I didn't do that.
I don't, but it's okay.
Well, and like again, the idea is to get kids and adults, but like I really want to get kids excited about reading. I'm a parent, so that's a thing that's near and dear to my heart. But I also recognize that with entertainment, as accessible as it is, we can go and watch cat videos or YouTube or any number of things. So like literacy is a struggling thing, right? And a lot of kids will look at a big book and say, I can't read that. But if the parent can show them that like this little bit is all you got to read, like this is this cat, then it's about building confidence, right? And so then they're like, oh my gosh, I can read this part. And if I read this part, then I can read the next part. So there's like a lot of thought behind the formatting, right? Switching pages is a nightmare as far as formatting and logistics, but also I want the kid to know that they can read that chunk, right? And build the confidence to maybe read the next chunk and the next chunk. So
what was the most difficult process in editing that?
Oh, because it all happens in the same like time frame. So every cat has like a 3-day span. And so I'm like, okay, when I wrote it, I was a little fast and loose with that. But when I was editing it, I have to be like, nope, this is the end of day 1. What did they do? Like I had this complicated notebook because I hate spreadsheets. A normal person would have put on a spreadsheet, but I hate spreadsheets. So I just had this notebook I put it down on. So.
No, I completely relate to that because I should probably use spreadsheets for a number of things that I'm doing from this show and other things, but I use paper and it bites me in the sometimes I'm like, where'd that piece of paper go? You know? So it happens, and I love the fact that you've built like that. I think that's important. I mean, because even like I said earlier, my son's 6, and it's something that we're really working on.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I gotta know your thoughts on this. I remember this brought up on a past show. We were talking about it. All right, go check out everything that's there. There's a lot, y'all. But if you look, why do you think it is that, unless you include what I will here in a moment, it goes from like basic picture books, and then it jumps really hard to novel, or like books with like almost no words. Okay. You realize there's a middle piece, don't you? Do you? I feel like you might. What do you think the middle piece is?
Well, that's sort of the like it technically it goes lower middle grade, upper middle grade. Like it goes picture book, early readers, early middle grade, upper middle grade. That's what it technically does. But I think that my kids couldn't find books that they wanted to read in the early middle grade stuff. It went from like Hop on Pop to Fablehaven, or you know what I mean? And there was not a space in between with short chapters that they felt like they could access with like and even like content wise, my kids were not interested in reading about school. Just in general. They wanted adventure, they wanted sci-fi and fantasy, right? Because that's what I raised a bunch of geeks, so that's what they want. And so that's part of the reason I started writing. So my very first middle grade book, Min the Mighty, was a bedtime story I told my kids during the pandemic. I'd never anticipated being a middle grade author. Like I was going to be a serious author. I was writing sci-fi and fantasy with elements of horror in it. It's pretty far away from middle grade as you can be. And I told my kids this bedtime story on one of those nights where it was like I was too just exhausted to even read them a story. And it's all about this tiny dragon who can transform into bigger dragons and saves the bigger dragons by reminding them of who they are. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is kind of a fun story. So when I was in between other projects a few months later, I wrote out the book just as like an exercise, just something to write. And it got its own momentum. Like I found an illustrator that was perfect fit. I was at the time donating plasma to save up money for artists and editors, which is what part of the reason I'm so passionate about hiring artists because I literally blood, sweat, and teared my first books, so I just don't believe in those shortcuts. But I got Min the Mighty out there, and I was like, no one's gonna want like this is. I don't even know if anyone's gonna want this book, right? And I still remember the day my little neighbor friend, she was probably like 10, 11 at the time. She'd read an early draft of the book, and she the next day came back with this sticky note of all the things she loved, and she was just like clutching the manuscript to her chest, and then she was just like, I just really loved it, and I still have the fan art that she came the next day with fan art of the characters, and I was like, oh, hold on, like we've got something here, right? So I wrote the book, and I was like, okay, cool. But in the book, I said the little dragon was going to save 7 dragons. I never thought I was going to have to pay up on that because it was a bedtime story. So be careful about what you promise in a bedtime story. So last year, I wrote and published the last 6 books so that it's a complete series. But it literally changed the whole direction of my career. And it helped me access. I'm so grateful for it because I will always be writing I'll follow the story wherever it goes. So if right now I'm writing a lot of middle grade because that's where the stories are coming from, but it might not always be the case, but I'll follow the story. I'm so grateful for it because there's some really pure honesty that has to manifest in middle grade. Like you just can't bullshit. You just really can't. Kids know. And you can't talk down to them, and you can't you just have to be honest, and obviously age appropriate, but like we talked about Bleep, Blurp, Murder at the beginning of this podcast. I didn't realize until I started writing that book that the main character's dad was going to be dead, and that this was actually a book about a little boy getting his confidence back a year after his dad passed away. And my dad passed away when I was 12. And suddenly it became me being honest about that moment, about what it was like trying to come back to school as I was an academic wizard, right? I was so good. And then it hit, like my dad's death took my confidence down to the negatives. And so Bleep, Blurp, Murder became me telling the honest truth about what it was like to try to be back in school and try to talk to people again and trying to like find myself again. And like that kind of honesty, like it's so refreshing and so wonderful. And then I get to share it with kids that need it, that treasure it. It's just honest. It's so amazing. So when people are like, well, you write kids books, I'm like, hey, yes, I do. And my fans are way cooler than yours.
Oh, that's savage, Becca, and I love it. I love
Well,
it.
they
I
are.
love it. But can I say though? Can I say like, man, like, all right, I think that's phenomenal. How many illustrations do you have in your book per page? Like there are 200. Let me see. So the Men of the Mighty are how many pages?
The Men the Mighty ones are closer to 100, like
Okay.
80 to 100 pages.
How many illustrations?
They don't have any illustrations in them.
Okay.
They have really short chapters.
No, I agree. That is a great stepping on point. I feel like there's a thing you can use to get from those picture books and make it simpler to get to that though. Because I'm using it on my son currently, and that's comic books.
Yes. Like, I mean, I interact with parents a lot, and I hear the complaint, like, my kids are just reading graphic novels. They won't stop reading graphic novels. And I'm like, listen, I get that there's some amount of reading, like, that you have to do in sentences and paragraphs. Like, some amount of, like, comprehension and fluency that has to come from reading sentences and paragraphs. I get that, but story is why we read. So if you get them hooked on story, like if you get them just trained that opening a book is accessing story, like this can get you story, that's a great first step, man. That's like you're on your way. So yes, like, and I love reading graphic novels too. So I'm like, I don't know, like I love it too. So, but yeah, I hear a lot of parents concerned about it. I'm not. I think it's a great way to move through.
I think that's so weird that you hear parents concerned about that too. Because, like, I'll say, like, I started reading comics. That's what got me starting reading, period, to where I really started reading. I've read The Art of War. I've read some, like,
geez.
I've read some Nietzsche in my lifetime. You know what I mean? I've read things that are not like if it wasn't for comics, I would have never read that. Are you serious? Like the entire a lot of we're not going to sit here and list books, but I think people don't understand how much. And I know that because I'm reading Bone to my boy currently. We're on book 9. Holy crap, that got serious. It really got. I didn't realize Bone was going to get so serious though. It started out nice and whimsical on a cow race, but it was bedtime. We were getting ready to read. He's holding the book and he looks at me and goes, "Daddy, I wish I could read." And I was like, and he's already on his way because I'm doing a lot of things to. We don't just read Bone. It's a weird, crazy balance, and I think maybe that's something that's missed is the work of a parent that you have to put in. And maybe I'm just being rude in that, and maybe I don't know. But it's a balance of getting it to where the switch from the picture book to getting it onto a story of something that entices their brain. You know what I mean? And I found that in Bone from my boy. Like he is adamantly loved it, and we got a lot of other stuff we read. That's just the first, I would say, long story like that we've read. I've read the comics to him, but it was never something that was like, here's 9 graphic novels that are just, And I think it's important. And you've obviously created stuff like that. Have you created? You said you've done some comic book work, right?
Yeah.
Did you have any intents to try and flip? Like, because Mim, I feel like it's something you could honestly quickly adapt into a comic, but it would obviously. I mean, if you did that 200 pages, let's say you're going to have. I mean, I'd say minimum. Well, it's a minimum of 12 issues a book. I would say, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I think so. I mean, I've talked with my artist about this. It's something that might be in the future, honestly. My artist, he lives in Italy and he is making his own comics right now. So he's interested. Like he loves comics and has the chops to do it. So it's something I would love to do. It's just like, when is it the right time? But I spent a minute in comics largely because I had some really bad feedback at a writers' conference that made me like decide that I wanted to become a storyteller, not just a poetic prose writer. And in comics, only the artist reads your words. So you have to be a storyteller, right? And so I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do this. So I joined like Mark Miller's like forum and was like submitting stuff all the time to other people and getting critiques and all of that stuff. And somebody saw me there, a comic book publisher in Scotland. It was sort of like a little bit of a dream project for him to like do his own comic. And he hired me on, but I think there was something that came apart, so it never got published. But I wrote 2 issues. I also, like, on back here, I wrote a comic pitch, a graphic novel pitch for a kid's graphic novel with a good friend of mine, Cam Kendall. And I'm always like hoping that will become a thing. But Cam is like super busy, and graphic novels are incredibly expensive to make if you're not the artist. So, but I mean, there's so much. I just have so much respect for the medium. I love it so much. I'm not one of those novelists who's like, I could do it. I can do comics as well as any comic book writer. Like, I'm not like that. It takes a different skill set. Like, I respect it. But what I love about comics is that you can, each medium has their own strengths. And sort of like the way I think about it is like animation or film it's about movement, right? Like it displays movement better than any other medium. What better than comics? Better than prose. And prose does emotion. Like you are in someone's head. You are the way they see that color, the way they see a person, the way like emotion, like it messes with you. When you read a very emotional book, you could be in a pit for a while, right? But comics, there's like a moment that like a full page spread, like a page turn for a surprise or like this. It's a moment. And nothing does moments better than comics. Like just nothing does it. It's so breathtaking. And you can just stay in that moment for as long as you want, right? You can just be there. And it's just magic. Like it's just so cool. So I really respect and love comic book writers, and when I dabble in it, I do it with reverence, right? And a respect for what I'm doing, because there's so much cool stuff that's there, right?
How is it? how is it, Becca? That you are, I think, look, we've had people that have written books in the past on the show, like Fabian. Fabian's a great example of that. But Fabian's known more for being the creator of Deadpool than he is for being a prose novelist. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just a fact. Great on both ends. I've read his first book. I've got his second. I need to find time to read that and all my comics, but that's neither here nor there. But you're the first one I'd say that really, like, that's more your main focus. And especially, I don't think we've ever had anyone on that wrote for what you're doing as far as in that age range. So, you know, it's all kid friendly. And I came across you by one of the men that have been on this show that writes some of the most heinous comics that currently exist.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Doug is, yeah, what he writes is amazing.
I mean, it's
He's
lovely. It's lovely work, but it's just funny you sitting here telling these whimsical stories, and I'm thinking, like, I brought you on because Wagner shared your post, and Wagner ain't nothing whimsical about anything Doug Wagner writes. Like,
no, for sure.
it's wonderful. It's not whimsical at bloody well all. And here you're like,
No,
here's all these whimsical stories, and I am slightly amused by that.
I know. Well, we booth together, like next to each other. We've done it twice now this year, and people would walk and buy plastic and then turn around and be like, "Min the Mighty," and then buy like it was such a weird synergy that happened between plastic and Min the Mighty. I was like, "All right, I don't know what I'm doing." So funny. I know. I know. I think Doug and I have like a similar energy in real life. Like our personalities gel, but what we tell stories about is very different. Very
A
different.
little bit.
A lot
Yeah.
bit. We
And
use the same color palettes sometimes. It's just his reds do different things. Mine's a red dragon, and he's got different uses for that red.
and some of the conversations I had with him, all him and Daniel sit there and do. It's Daniel Hillard.
Mhm.
They just sit there and they just try and figure out what's the grossest thing they could do, because we've had that conversation on the show. So like,
Yes.
and here you
Yes.
are, like, I'm gonna like take this story from my kids and make it whimsical, and this is the guy you booth with. Like, I feel like if I see you and Doug next to one another at a con, I'd just have to stop and be like,
Yeah. What is going on? Yeah.
like, because of a kid, like, there's just, I feel like there's certain people that, like, a 12-year-old shouldn't read plastic.
Yeah.
Nim the Mighty
Yeah,
would
he
be
has
fine.
to kind of start with that because he's got bright colors on his covers too. So sometimes kids will like, especially the furry one, like kids will get drawn
Plush,
into
yeah.
that one. Yes, and he'll have to be like, he'll tell the parents like it's a little. This is what it's about. They're cannibals. So, but around the corner is someone who writes about cute dragons, so you could go see her. It is funny, and what's so cool, like obviously I I absolutely love Doug Wagner. He's my Obi-Wan Kenobi and always will be. But there's like a similar creative process that we talk all the time, and he talks about like going all the way to the extreme, like push it as crazy as you think it can go, and let the other people rein you in. Like let the editors tell you that's too much, and he's like they don't tell you, because we stop ourselves a few steps before originality. That's what we do as creators. And what Doug has learned and what he's taught me is that you don't need to stop yourself, right? Like be fully authentically yourself. Make it 100% Becca, which for me is whimsical and quirky and heartfelt typically, or I'm trying to scare adults. Like that's sort of where we're at. But like that's fully Becca, right? And Doug goes fully him, and we talk all the time about the like there's nice synergy with that.
No, but you just found it right there in what you just said. You said you try to scare adults.
Sometimes, yeah.
Doug
Yeah.
does the same thing all the
Yes.
time.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah. I feel like I love horror movies, as weird as that is. I really do. So Doug and I will talk, like we'll share good horror movies. Although I do have a bone to pick with him because I liked a couple of superhero movies this summer a lot and he did not, and that's sad. I was so sad.
Oh, what ones? I want to know.
Am I gonna get roasted? Are you gonna roast me?
I
Is
don't
this where this
bloody
part
well
happens?
know. I'm not like I tried it.
Couple-
Look, I know there are questions on the questionnaire that are real specific about like what do you hate. I don't like whatever you like. I don't bloody well care. There's a purpose for all
Yeah.
that. We'll get to it later.
Yes, I loved the new Superman movie, and I loved the new Fantastic Four movie. Now, caveat, because I know you're listeners and you are like avid comic book fans. I did not grow up reading all the comics. I did not. But I love superhero movies, and I'm getting into comics now. It's a different experience to go into a comic book store as a girl. Like I've tried several times in my life, and it's been weird. So I'm just trying to get into it now. And I cosplay as Supergirl at Comic Cons, which I love.
You know she's about to just get viciously beat up by Lobo in her film, right?
I know.
Like
You know
that's what's
so-
gonna happen. Like
Yes.
Jason Momoa is gonna show up as Lobo at a bar. She's gonna like bump into him or something, and he's gonna beat the living crap out of her because she's on a planet with a red sun. And it's gonna be freaking hilarious. And I love that they're introducing him like that because it's very Lobo.
Well, and that's a nice segue into why I love the Superman movie. So I loved it because Superman was vulnerable, not because of kryptonite. Kryptonite wasn't the reason he was vulnerable in that movie. He was vulnerable because he was trying to protect everything, including a squirrel, and because crypto was living chaos, right? And so he was like always trying to manage that, right? And I was like, that was the most human thing.
I'm sorry. The crypto is living chaos. I love that because I mean I haven't got my boy to sit and watch all that film. We've watched little bits, but the
right.
I think like I guess Doug didn't like either of those.
He didn't get into detail because he's like, you liked it, didn't you? I was like, yeah. He's like, we don't need to talk about it. Yeah, but I don't think he loved it, and that's okay. He can be wrong.
That's because I enjoy both those films as well. I think, and I was never a big Superman guy. I've read more Superman probably in the past year or two than I've ever read in my whole life. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just never liked that character. But then we're getting into all that. But I highly enjoyed the movie, and I think like even it's the whole thing of what you just said, as far as him trying to protect everything, because it's that moment where he's talking to Lex Luthor at the very end, and it's like that's the thing you never understood. It's my humanity, the fact that I get up every day, that whole speech, all of that, and then the part of me just loves it because I'm like, I love Superman as a character. It's awesome, but you know what? Sometimes you got to have that crypto energy when that dude starts poking the chest of the guy that don't want to just put him into a wall real quick when he really needs put into a wall real quick. Right?
Yes.
And
Yes, it was genius, honestly. It was such good storytelling because the reason we love Superman is because he wasn't going to cross that line. But we also wanted Lex to get his ass kicked. And that's where Krypto was like, I'll do that. And we're like, okay, well, we got both. Superman got to
dog.
stay cool. Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, and it's hard to separate like how a movie resonates with you with like the story, how it's built storytelling wise, because sometimes like that like resonation factor makes up for a lot of things. Like it just does. But like Superman and Fantastic Four were movies I needed to see this summer. Like my soul I needed to see a main character who was good for good's sake, which is what Superman was. And in Fantastic Four, I needed to see a family who would take care of each other, right? Like that, like would go to bat for each other. And I needed to see a powerful mom figure in Marvel who didn't turn into a crazy bitch. Sorry, Scarlet Witch. They should apologize to you.
I mean, but look, that is. But I think her going crazy because I've read that whole. Have you read Avengers Disassembled?
No, I haven't read that one yet.
I mean, it's fair why she went nuts. If you know,
it is like, fair, but she's like the only mom in Marvel, and I'm a mom, and I need to like. There needs to be cool moms, right? Like, and Sue Storm is like powerful and feminine and a mom. Like she's all of the things.
Oh, now you got me really thinking, Becca. You got me really because you're right. Scarlet Witch's mom, she's bloody well crazy, and then there's Sue, and she's the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Right. And I'm just right. Well, I mean, Jessica Drew, I would say, is another mom in the Marvel universe. I mean, I know she's not in the shows yet, but I mean, her and Luke Cage have a kid in the comics. Now you really just got me like running through my head, like who are moms in Marvel that are still like, look, I'll bust your head, don't mess with me and my family, kind of thing. And yeah, that's not a
like. It's not like Aunt May is awesome, but she's not beating anyone up. Although I would watch that. I would watch that. I would watch Aunt May beating someone up. But that's
I think, look, I swear there was a comic where they gave her powers at some point. If there wasn't, I'll be bloody well amazed just as long as that character's been in existence. It has to have happened. And but I swear I kind of vaguely remember something like that. You didn't see Thunderbolts?
I did. I saw Thunderbolts and I thought it was good. So my problem is that I love, first of all, I've got a crush on Sebastian Stan because who doesn't, right? But Winter Soldier was kind of billed as the strongest guy on that team. And then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, but no. Because my gosh, he still has super soldier serum. So and by the way, as many times as they've ripped his arm off, he should have a failsafe for that. Like it should do something. Stop taking that guy's arm off. Like he's not stupid, and he's also still a super soldier. So like, come on. Like he's the strongest guy in that room, but he wasn't treated like that.
All right, real quick. That's why doesn't he have a failsafe for that arm?
Why? It should blow up in their faces. Like he was a freaking assassin. Like if someone detaches it, it's now they should at least be dead. Like
or at least it's vibranium. And if you go by the rules of vibranium, then it can absorb the kinetic energy and redisperse it. So why not make it to where you pull it off, it's going to kick out everything in your face that it has currently contained.
Right. Something because it gets ripped off far too many times. It's just it's his arm falls off almost as many times as someone's arm gets chopped off in Star Wars. Like it's a lot. Come on, guys, get it together.
Well, look. If you don't want to have it falling off, and you want to get comics a little bit cheaper, what I want you all to do right quick, is check out this commercial from our sponsor, Studio Comics. We need to restart this whole commercial because people could probably hear Pokemon in the background.
Please check out this amazing promotion that we have prepared with the questionnaire.
Of the unknown factor, this right here is the obscure fragment.
are watching this show
Yeah, I'll do editing.
with the questionnaire.
So we've edited this awesome commercial together, y'all.
90% off.
We are not giving 90% off.
No, I mean 9.
How about 20?
The only thing that you have to do is enter that code that you have right there.
9.
No, 20.
10.
How about 20?
I'm printing your comics today with Studio Comics Press.
Just use this code right here, right here, right here. Look, I put it somewhere. All right, it's probably actually right here, right here, right. It's right under your chin. It says Quest 24.
That code you gotta enter in our website, and then you will get a whipping discount of 20% in any of the items or products that we have on the website.
9.
20.
9.
20%.
9.
All right.
9.
He wants to give you 9% off. I, as well as Alfonso over there on Studio Comics, want to give you 20% off.
You can get it right there with this amazing code. Just enter it right here. Yeah, just right there. There.
Use that code over at Studio Comics to get 20% off.
Thank you very much. This is a special one for all our friends of the questionnaire.
Type in Quest 24 when you check out, man. You can figure out the percentage you'll get right then because it'll show in your order.
Yeah,
right?
9% off.
It's 20%.
The Questionnaire, the best current comic book podcast existing around.
So happy to have Studio Comics as our very, very first sponsor. Say Studio Comics!
Studio Comics!
Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and do all the stuff that you have to do.
I'm the Unknown Factor with the Questionnaire. Make sure you check it out. I just wanted to say something real quick about something real quick. Because sometimes I want to say something and it ain't going to be something that's on the something. You know what I mean? Because this is the Questionnaire. But that don't mean everybody gets all access. Ain't nobody should get all access to anything, to any individual. That's just kind of how it should be, in my opinion. Unless it's, well, there's one case where it can be. We ain't getting into semantics or all that because that's not what I was talking about. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about the fact of how a story can hit. And I think in the age of the internet, what we were just discussing as far as people being like, oh, hey, cool, it was the story for you. That's awesome. And then shutting up, right? And not being like, oh no, the CGI was crap. Oh no, that, you know, that's not how that character is supposed to be. Oh no, that blah, 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 blah. Oh no, did you see the Starbucks cup in the background? Who cares? Did you enjoy it?
Right.
Why do you think it's become so decisive anymore as far as for people to be argumentative about that?
I think people just like getting attention, and negative opinions get more attention because we want to fight with each other. And when you criticize something, you get the illusion that you're smarter than the creator, and that can be nice, but it's so much harder to create something. Like, we both know that, right? It's just so much harder to create, and I think once you've created something, you know that no, your story is not going to be for everyone. It can't be for everyone. That's not how it works. And so you realize, if a story doesn't connect with you, you're just not the audience, and that's okay. But you still leave space for the other audience, the person that needs that story, to come and find it. And I think it's important to just leave that space neutral, right? And not make it so negative. And to Doug's credit, because he'll give me crap for dragging him through the mud, saying he didn't like those two movies, but he left the space neutral. Once he knew I liked the movie and he didn't like the movie, he didn't argue with me about it. He was just like, it didn't hit for me. I'm like, okay, well, I cried in the movie theater. it very much hit for me. So I was like, all right, cool, Becca. So I think.
So he wasn't a punk kid behind you in the theater. I
No.
feel you, yeah, because, don't be that punk kid behind the person in the theater. Just enjoy it or don't enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it to the point where you feel like you got to blah, 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 you can walk away. There's so much entertainment out nowadays. If you feel like, I feel like the people that, spend time consuming things that they are not, it's like you realize the time you have is finite to begin with.
Yeah.
Why are you doing things that are bugging your brain?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, your energy is precious. So just move on. Find something that makes you happy.
That. You've said so many things in this quest, Rebecca, I'm just like, why Pedro? Wait, what's your favorite Pedro Pascal film?
Well, I don't. Let's see. I loved him in Last of Us. That's not a film though. I loved him in Last of Us. I'm not caught up on that because I knew he was gonna die and I didn't want to watch that. So as soon as the internet ruined that for me, I was like, well, we're gonna stop watching that for a
Hey,
minute.
thanks.
Can't
I was
handle
thinking
it.
about watching that at some point, and I didn't know that. Showing you how little I'm on the internet. Spoilers. She's a
Sorry,
peep,
spoilers.
Becca. Like I literally. That's funny
Spoilers.
because I literally did not. I,
You really didn't? Because that was a long time ago. So, well, sorry about that. Don't watch it if you don't want to see him die. Because that's what I'm doing, sadly now.
I don't care as long as the story's solid. I'll watch. I mean, it's I think but spoilers for real. Did you watch?
Spoilers.
Have you ever watched Doctor Who? Sheesh.
No, I've not watched Doctor Who. You can spoil Doctor Who if you want. If it makes it fair.
No, that's one of his lines. Is no spoilers.
Oh.
Like he says that because he jumps around time all the time. Sometimes he literally runs into himself, and like it's like no spoilers. Man. No, I can't tell you what's going to happen to you between this time and that time. I know, like things like that. No spoilers.
That's great. No spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Pedro in Fantastic Four. I'll pick that as my favorite. I've liked him in a lot of things, but that's the recent love.
What's that Nicolas Cage film he's in? Or he's in a film with Nicolas Cage.
I haven't seen that one yet because I have an aversion to Nicolas Cage. The something of talent, something. Yes.
Something. Yeah. It's yeah. Why? What's the problem with Nick Cage?
How long we got?
I mean, I don't know. How long are you willing to hang around and chat? Right.
Listen,
how much do I want to give Larry to edit?
we just talked about leaving it a neutral space. And I don't know if I can talk about Nick Cage and not be a hypocrite. But you know what? Just like some stories resonate, right? Some stories resonate. Some actors are believable in their presentation, and you just kind of buy it. Like they're like, "Yep, that resonates." I know people who are like that. Nick Cage is not one of those for me. Every time he's on screen, it feels like I'm watching an understudy of an actor that should be there. So it's just like his performances do not feel believable. It feels like kind of it just doesn't resonate, and I don't know why. It just never has.
Just in case this ever gets to that level, as far as the questionnaire, because we've had actors and such on the show, man. It's always been a pleasure.
Sorry,
Nick, man, if you ever want to come on the show, I don't feel that way. Just to be clear.
And I don't have anything personally against Nick Cage. It's just doesn't resonate. Sorry, buddy. Maybe next time.
I don't know. At this point in his career, I feel like if there's not a film by Nick Cage you're a fan of,
he's done a lot.
Yeah,
so.
That dude has done. I don't know how many films he's done, but I mean,
a lot.
He
and Sam Jackson.
He's a freaking pea. I want to know why does everyone? You noticed I said a regular person, right?
What regular person?
When you're gonna go live in, like, what world do you want to live in? You noticed I said a regular person, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why does almost everyone choose somewhere they're just gonna go die or suffer?
I just want to be in space. I picked space places. I want to travel the stars. That's what I want to do. And both of my answers allow me to do that, even if I'm shoveling sand on Tatooine. That's fine. Still get to study the stars, be there, see the two suns.
You want to shovel sand?
I could.
On Tatooine.
I could. I mean, I don't like heat. Look at me. I'm a Viking. I would pass out real fast on Tatooine, but I love Star Wars.
You're just trying to go die of a heat stroke on Tatooine. All right, that's it.
You know what? When I went, have you been to Star Wars Land at Disneyland?
No, I have not.
The first time I walked in, I got teary-eyed, and when I left, I turned to my husband and I was like, "Do you think I could be a homeless person here?" And he was like, we got to leave faster. Like, just being somewhere where the sounds and the like everything I could see was Star Wars was just like every part of my tiny Becca was like, yes! Like so excited. Like 5-year-old Becca was like, we could stay here forever. It's fine. So if I died in Tatooine, I would die so freaking happy. It would be fine. Like, it'd be a short life, but it would be a good one.
But you can't be homeless at Disney. I want to point out, ain't nobody.
Well, the cats do it. There are cats that do it.
Yeah, cats. You ain't a. This ain't a cat adventure, all right?
It could be next cat adventure.
That's this is not a cat adventure. There's a link to buy that down in the description if you want, though. But this is not. You cannot cat adventure Disneyland or Disney World. They will.
They would come at me. With, it would lose its magic, but it crossed my mind. I was like, because my husband's like, don't you want to go and like ride the rides? And I just literally want to sit there. Like I want to sit there and I want to hear R2-D2 and I want to look at the tracks on the ground and I want to see the trees and the buildings and like just be there. Like I want to be there.
See,
and I don't care about rides.
I don't think that would have that effect on me, but correct me if I'm wrong. They have a Marvel section now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in California Adventure.
That's the one that if I went to, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'll just stay here.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's Spider-Man over there, man. What's up?
Yeah. You can tell when the comic book guys walk into Marvel Land, they kind of just like, they slow down. They're just like, it's like, we got, like the moms are like, we got to get to Guardians, we got to do this. And they're like, hold on. Spider-Man's up there. Like, it's exactly that. It's like, hold on. I know where that is.
Yeah. But, like, I don't want to have to deal with Darth Vader on a personal level because I'm the type of, like, look, I'm too much of a smart ass. All right, if I really had to live in Star Wars and I ever met a Sith Lord and I'm not force sensitive to the point where I can fight them, I am going to die. All right? I have no qualms about the fact that like I would cause my death if I had to deal with a Sith Lord. Like Darth Maul, dude, like 5 seconds because I've said something about his horns and I'm done. All right.
You'd red shirt it.
No, like so. Look, if I walked up to Darth Maul and I seen him, man, you must be the horniest Sith Lord. I'm dead. All right.
Yes.
I'm dead.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you know, I'm curious, because I had Jay Clark on a while ago. You ever go on TikTok and scroll?
Yes.
You ever run across an elegant weapon? A dude with a huge lightsaber collection.
It sounds familiar, so
probably. I mean a massive lightsaber collection. This dude has way too many lightsabers. I love you, Jay. That wasn't me saying I love myself for everyone out there to be clear. That's he's on recently.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the other Jay Clark. It's really weird to like I kind of interviewed myself in a way. It's strange.
You have a lot of lightsabers.
Dude, yeah. I don't want that many lightsabers in my house. My boy would end up that would just be like crazy lightsaber fights with my 6-year-old where we're trying to General Grievous and we only got 2 arms.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Or imagine him waking you up like in like 2 a.m. right by your bed with a red lightsaber. Just like the younglings have come. They've come and they're taking you out. That's what that nightmare is.
Great. I don't need that. Do you know of the other like I didn't know the Jedi had any other enemy besides the Sith.
Okay.
Did you?
I've read a lot of the books, but I'm curious which enemy are you talking about?
Well, how many enemies do they have then? Are you telling me there's a bunch that are like able to literally go and fight a Jedi? Because I thought that was pretty much like Boba Fett could kind of get away with it if he caught one-on-one, and there might be a couple other people that maybe would have a chance, but they're probably going to die. But if you're not a Sith Lord, you can't go lightsaber. Like, the second a Jedi pulls out a lightsaber, if you're not a Sith Lord, you either better run or die, or, just do whatever, because that's what's going to happen. But apparently there are people that can.
Okay. Yeah. I just watched the latest Star Wars Visions, which I don't think have you seen the Star Wars Visions?
No.
It's like where different studios like do a small short in the Star Wars universe. And the latest season is like a return to this kind of like Ronin Japanese version of Star Wars. And like they introduced a new bad guy, which was like, it was like fallen Sith fighting other fallen Sith, but then in comes this new bad guy, which is like a fallen Jedi. So like, who's clearly like fighting, like it's all revenge based, right? So like, it's so fascinating. Anyway, it was so yeah. I think there's a lot of room for other bad guys. But what bad guy are you talking about?
God, I can't remember. Jay brought it up, and it was some thing. I don't know. I don't. I thought you would have some kind of reference based on the Star Wars nerd vibes you were giving out.
Well, there's just so much canon, and there's so much that's not canon anymore once Disney bought it. So I don't want to say.
Okay, that I don't know what Jay was talking about. I don't know if it was from
Legends or canon.
If it was from Legend or if it was from canon. But because what you just said, those are still Sith and Jedi. They're just fallen.
Yeah.
What he was talking about was something that was like entirely different. That wasn't. I mean, I didn't ask him if they were Force sensitive. We didn't get into that. Now I'm bloody well curious. But I don't think they were. So I mean, are there things that aren't Force sensitive that can fight a Jedi or Sith Lord and not, like have a fighting chance?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the Mandalorians did and could. So, like, one of my favorite video games is Knights of the Old Republic. I'm still waiting for that, like, the updated version on PlayStation 5. Oh my gosh. In fact, I bought a PlayStation 5 during the craziness of buying PlayStation 5 because that game was going to be released, and then it didn't release, and my husband's like, you lied. Like, you got a PlayStation 5 for no reason. And I was like, sorry. But in Knights of the Old Republic, Mandalorians had the, like, capability. Like, their armor could resist lightsabers, and they could kill Jedi. Like, that's what they were. I don't know, and again, I don't know if that's all canon anymore because The Mandalorian changed a lot of Mandalorian canon. So, and everyone, there's some things I love about Mandalorian too, but I really wish we had more non-Force sensitive threats to Jedi and Sith. I think that's always a cool place to be. Like we're talking about with Superman too. Like, kryptonite is an interesting, or was an interesting weakness for Superman the first 50 times we saw it. Like, I'd like to see other weaknesses. I'd like to see other ways that he's vulnerable. And that's part of the reason why that movie worked for me.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because the only Superman story I ever read as a kid that really stuck with me was when they turned him blue. And when he turned that power off, he was a human. And you could you could very easily catch him in that moment. And that's the end of Superman if you caught him when he wasn't all powered up, and that was an intriguing aspect to me. So I get that. And I guess in like thinking about it, I always just thought, it's a rock and that's your only weakness. Why is someone not made it a sword? Like,
yeah,
like really?
Yeah, that lightsaber would be cool. Let's make a crossover kryptonite lightsaber.
That's frightening. All right, so no more. You create something Doug Wagner. You create something Doug Wagner would think of.
I know. See, your friend.
So let me know then. I'm curious with what you've accomplished and how your path has gone, and that it's led you to Mem the Mighty, and doing everything you have, and you ended up writing for more of the middle. What'd you say that group was again? You gave it a
middle grade.
Middle grade. What is that, like 5th, 6th? Is that what you would say?
Yeah, that's elementary school,
4th,
right?
5th,
But it's
6th.
usually
Okay.
it's like 3rd and up is typically middle grade because the kindergarten, 1st, 2nd are still learning to read in those early reader books. So.
No, man, I got my boy in kindergarten, and I got him reading Bone with me. I don't know what you're talking about. We're gonna get serious with it. I'm gonna have him to where like he's in second grade talking about them the mighty's awesome. And I'm like, that's right,
Yes.
buddy. All right.
I love that.
You
Yes.
read like that. That's my goal. I feel like people used to start reading earlier in life, but that's a whole other discussion we're not going to get into. But if someone wants to get into being a creative and going
Mhm.
about getting into where they are making things for people to consume, what's your advice?
Oh. Do I have to just say one thing?
I don't care how much you say, just say it.
yeah. Right.
If there's one,
So
if you have one piece of advice that works, firstly, you really should say it. It would be really, really, really rude of you, Becca, to keep it to
to
yourself.
not say
Yeah.
it.
Like
Yeah.
if you just this
Right.
one thing and it works.
Right. It works every time. Yeah. I would sell it. That's what I would do. No, I'm just kidding. See? I think what I would want to know if I were starting out again, like the advice that I would want to hear, is that the uncertainty never goes away. And I wouldn't actually, that advice would probably make me sad and mad for a minute, but here's what I mean. So when I was first starting out, I thought, once I finish a book, I'll feel less uncertain. And then when I finished my first book, I was like, once I finish 3 books. And when I finished 3 books, I said, once I finish a series. And once I finish a series, I still felt this uncertainty, right? I wasn't sure if the book was good, or I wasn't sure if I was writing the right book or not. I wasn't sure if this character, like, just there's so much uncertainty. Here's the truth of it. Uncertainty is the characteristically strong emotion when you're learning. It's uncertainty. And you have to build a tolerance for uncertainty. Have to. You look at the pros around you and you think, oh, that pro doesn't feel uncertainty. And that's not true. You talk to them in a more intimate setting and they'll tell you, like, no, I feel uncertain all the time. What they've mastered is tolerating that uncertainty and doing the work anyway, right? And so even like Doug Wagner and I talk about this all the time, and he's like, Becca, if you're not scared with the thing that you're writing next, you're not trying hard enough. That simple, right? Like he's turning fear into a good thing. It's the sign that you're trying hard enough. You're digging deep. You're pushing for that 100% Becca or 100% Jay or 100% Doug creation, right? So making friends with the fear, like settling into that uncertainty and just like, you know what, I'm constantly going to be learning. I'm never going to arrive. I'm never going to get to the place where I'm like, yep, now I can coast. And if I ever do, I'd like to retire at that moment because I won't be creating good art, right? And so it's always going to be uncertain. I'm always going to be trying new stories and building bigger things.
You've invoked such I don't even know if I should ask, but I'm gonna. Do you think that it happens sometimes? And I mean, within whatever, pick an entertainment form. I don't care if we're talking acting, directing, writing, drawing, pick doing poetry, music, pick one. I don't care. But do you think it happens in times where those people doing that end up getting to a point of success and then they do start ghosting?
Yeah. Like I think readers and consumers feel it, right? We feel it. We feel it when people are not in love with what they're doing. Because again, like we talked about at the beginning, art for me is connecting souls. And if you're not striving for that connection, if you're doing it for something else other reason, because people are, you're obligated to do it now or whatever, the connections are weaker or they're not there at all. Like I feel it in some of the stuff that I've consumed. And yeah, I think it does happen, but I think people can get it back too. So it's like, I don't give up on a creator just because I feel like maybe they're coasting for a minute, because life's hard and maybe that's what they had to do. Maybe that's what the deadlines were or whatever. Like, okay, I don't give up on them, but I do think it happens. And I think it's my personal challenge to just stay invested, right? To stay fully invested in what I'm doing even when it's uncomfortable and difficult. And I sometimes sometimes up at night being like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do? Like what if this doesn't even work? Like what if those things haunt me sometimes, but I do the work anyway.
What do you do to get past your writer's block?
I don't think inspiration and motivation should be expected at the beginning of a work day. That's what I do. I work anyways, right? So what I've learned is that momentum brings motivation for me. So what I mean by that is like at the beginning of the day, every single day, I'm like, I don't want to write today. I don't want to write. I want to do something else. I'll check email. I'll set up this thing or that thing. I'll do dishes. I'll do anything but write. And I know that about myself. And that's 99% of creatives are like that. We're like, oh gosh, we got to deep clean the fridge today. I'm like, why? Because I don't want to write. Like that's why. So what you have to do is set up a routine and discipline to get you the momentum. So I know once I get 500 words written in my story, I have momentum and I'll get pulled back into the story and I will do my writing for the day. But it took a long time for me to realize that momentum, the motivation comes after that. I hear so many writers talk about like, well, like I was waiting for the muse and blah, blah. I don't believe in the muse. I believe in like motivation comes when you're working, right? It's the same if you're working out, right? You see people who go to the gym a lot or work out, write music or practice an instrument, whatever you're doing. You don't want to do that every day, but you build a habit of doing it every day. And so that you keep showing up and your consistency builds to where you need to be, right? So I've found personally that consistency rather than scale is what I should focus on. So like as soon as I'm writing every day, I can scale that. But when I'm only writing every other day or every third day, I can't scale that. So even if I'm writing 5 words every single day, eventually I can scale that up. Like it's easier to scale. But if I'm not in a consistent space, it's just trouble for me. So
look, don't take me looking away real quick as me not fully paying attention to the answer that you just gave. Because everything
you're good.
I've not heard you say anything I would disagree with, which is rare. Because I'm fairly argumentative over here. Typically,
I did say something about Nick Cage. You wanted to argue
you're
with.
making too many. I mean, look, but that goes back to the whole like, look, some things aren't somebody's cup of tea.
It's
You
true.
know, like I mean, that's just the way it is. Like,
Yeah.
I've watched some anime and people are like, "Oh, you should check this out," and I check it out, and I'm like, "I'm good."
That's not for me. It's
Yeah,
not my story.
I'm good. I watched Dragon Ball and all that when I was growing up, and somebody was like, "You should check out One Piece." And like, firstly, I looked at it and I was like, "That's like 1,000 episodes. You leave me alone." Right? Like right on that note. And then I caught like a part of it and I was like, oh no, that's 1,000 episodes and that's what it is? Oh no, I'm really, really good. Leave me alone. I don't need 1,000, like, no.
It's a lot.
You know? And sometimes that is the thing. It's the amount that is there to consume. But I want to, there's one more thing and I'm curious how you get past this because you've given some great advice as far as to work past things or to just make it routine, and I think that is very, very important, and I agree. But the part of your job that you dread, I understand, Becca, because I run this show. I played D&D with a dude that played the Cocaine Bear. I've had so many great creators, writers, artists on this show of people who I read their work when I was like 15. You know what I mean? So, what do you do when that imposter syndrome hits? How do you deal with that aspect? This may be a personal advice question.
Yeah, right. It never goes away. So again, like that's never going away. So Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it doesn't. Go ask your favorite creative. In fact, I did. So speaking of Star Wars, Timothy Zahn, awesome Star Wars author. If you haven't read his stuff, my gosh, it's part of the reason I'm a writer, right? Finding his books in 5th grade was like, it just set me on a different course. But I talked to him at a con once, and it was the second or third time I'd talked to him, and I was asking him about like, well, do you outline or do you this and this? And he was like, Becca, every day I wake up and I think today might be the day that they figure out I'm a fraud. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? You are Star Wars. To me, you are Star Wars. Like, to me, Timothy Zahn is more Star Wars than George Lucas. Like, honest to goodness, that's how my brain is. I was like, are you kidding me?
Okay, we're
How
gonna
could
stop
you be?
before the comments start flooding in,
Right.
and the whole show gets like
Right. The
blown
whole
up by
internet.
Star Wars fans and like.
Internet. They're like, but like he, in that moment, I think he was trying to articulate to a young creative, like, Becca, it never goes away. This imposter syndrome, this like thing, because I was trying to like patch it. I was trying to be like, well, maybe if I outline more, I'll feel like a more real creative. Or maybe if I make stuff like you make stuff, maybe I'll feel real and I won't feel utterly terrified, like I don't belong here. And I think what he was telling me, we'd have to bring him on, which you should, because he's amazing and so kind.
Hey, I mean,
that,
if you can line that up, I ain't gonna say no.
yeah,
But if you
he's so
line
great.
that up, either you're co-hosting or I'm getting Jay Clark. Because
Right.
like I'm not like I appreciate Star Wars for what it is. Any Star Wars fan could talk circles around me when it comes to Star Wars. Like, I'm like, I like the Bounty Hunters. Boba Fett's
Yeah.
really cool. I read those books.
Yeah, no, if you're interested in a non-force power that can take on a Jedi, you should meet Grand Admiral Thrawn. But that's
Okay, I know that one.
Yeah, that's a character he created. Timothy Zahn created Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh
So,
yeah,
anyway.
hey, you should get him on the show if you know him.
Yeah, I should.
I mean, I'm
So-
just saying.
You're right. So this was like, imposter syndrome. It blew my little mind that the person I idolized the most in all of novel writing, like at all, every day grappled with this thing. And so it has changed the way I think about imposter syndrome. That it does not go away. In fact, I think the higher you get, the stronger it is, right? The more people who are looking at you, the more you're interacting with people that you esteemed as greater than you, all of these things, right? So the way I think about imposter syndrome is that my story is enough if it connects with one person. This is my antidote. My story is enough if I can connect with one person. And if it has already connected with one person, then I belong. I am a storyteller. I did it, right? And so any other number is just made up, right? So it's like, well, what's your sales ranking? Whatever. My story connected with the person. That's what it's supposed to do. Everything else is just kind of extra. When you stay grounded, if you're living your dream, like every single day I get to create stories and share them. Every single day. That's my dream. Nobody can take that away from me. Not AI, not anyone, right? So if I'm living my dream, if I'm living grounded in this, everything else is extra. Whether people love me, whether I get accepted to, San Diego Comic-Con, whether I get blah, 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 whatever you think is your, like the signs of success, those are extra. You have to stay grounded in living your dream. And when you do, oh my gosh, every day can be joyful, right? Like every day you can have that. And so there's so much magic in the mundane, your everyday dream living, right? There's magic in that. And so like balancing that. So like if you have a constant source of magic, you're not going into social interactions looking for that validation, or you're not desperate. You're not looking for it. And so when you walk into the room and you see someone cool, you're like, oh my gosh, you're cool, and we're storytellers, and that's great. You get to do that because you are a storyteller, because you do it every day, you live it every day. And I think it gets more exaggerated when you don't.
Do you ever think that throws off the normies?
That throws off the normies. Yeah. Yeah, like where is she? Why is she so confident? Yeah. Definitely does.
Like-
I don't
Sorry. I just look, man, I know I'm kind of live and kind of wired. It's just how I am. And I know also like have to work a regular day job. Look, go subscribe to the Patreon, y'all. Questionnaire. It's right down there. I swear I'm going to start posting stuff on there again soon. I swear I will. One day, maybe. Just subscribe for the love of it. Come on.
Right.
Books, comics, entertainment. You know what I mean? Make it to where I can make more. Subscribe to put stuff on the Patreon by subscribing to the Patreon. I know that don't make sense. I know it's counterintuitive, but trust me, it'll work. But that's why I say the norm as far as just people that don't reach into that creative side. I've noticed where when you get somebody that is more of a creative, there is a different energy. And I really think that messes with those people sometimes when it's not like if they're meeting somebody and they know that's going to happen, fine. But if it's just like this person's out in the wild and they might even not know you're creative, I think it throws off the normies.
It does. It really does. I was at a library event this week where where I was supposed to teach a presentation on dragons, and like I was having the audience like offer like different elements that a dragon could be connected to that's not fire, because we were talking about like, the history of dragons, how they're used in literature, and I was like, all right, let's make our own dragons. And so they were suggesting elements, and I was like, oh well, this, and if you did this and you could do this, and they're like, you could see everyone just like, and then someone was like, it's really interesting to see a storyteller work, and I was like, oh, just scared the normies, didn't I? I just did. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So look,
scared them a little bit.
Yeah, so with that, you've given so much great advice on this quest, Becca. I have to add one thing. Don't be afraid to scare the normies. All right?
Right.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be afraid to scare the normies. It's completely and totally fine and acceptable. It is. And this has been an absolute pleasure. Becca, I'm going to drag you on a couple times here. I'm going to
Let's do it.
I swear here now, I want to like bring you on for like, and this is going to be in like season 4 though, because I got other shit. But I mean, we got other stuff before in season 3, but I swear for season 4, I want to interview you with Wagner and Wagner with you. I think it'd be bloody like just hilarious. But that's for season 4. You'll see Wagner as well as Becca back in season 3 at different points because we got a lot of stuff coming up. Real like it's getting kind of crazy, and I love you, Larry, man. Larry, my video editor, man. I can't tell you, like we didn't even swear a whole lot, motherfucker. Yeah, I threw that in just so you had to beep it one time. All right, that was just for you, Larry. He's gonna be like, you serious? He went that whole episode and then did that. And I'm like, sometimes I just do it now just to mess with him because I love him. And one day he's gonna be like, dude, would you stop doing that? And I'm like, how long did it take you? He's like, 2 minutes. I'll be like, shut up.
Yeah, sounds like he's helping the life.
Best life. Larry's phenomenal, man, and yeah, this whole quest has been phenomenal. The people that I've been able to talk to, encounter, and I hope all y'all are out there listening and taking in this advice, man, for real. Because don't be scared or don't be afraid to scare the normies. I mean, they're just whatever. I would say NPCs, but that seems like I'm going a little too far. You know.
Well, I mean, even just like don't be like if you're too much, they can go find something less, right? Like be all of it. Like be all of yourself. And if you're too much, then let them go find less because there are other people they can be around. But if you are your full self, you'll find your people. That's the only way you can. So like if you diminish your light, if you diminish yourself, you're not going to find your people. Whether those people are your fellow creatives or your collaborators or your readers, your audience, you won't find them when you diminish yourself. You have to be full volume all the time. It's exhausting and awesome at the same time.
No, I get it. As someone that, like I said, I'm a hip hop artist. I run the show, and yeah, it is. Don't be afraid to turn it up to 10. Don't. I fully agree, man. For everyone out there, look, if you've enjoyed everything that Becca has said, there's links to all her work in the description. You go buy it all, man. Do it, right? Like, encourage, especially if you got kids around that age, get them to read. Okay, it's so important that, especially I think in the world we live in now, that we get the next generation to really, really read, to where they really, really read, to where hopefully eventually it ends up where they're reading philosophy and the art of war and understanding a whole different level of complex things and how the world works and all of that. I think it's so important. So go buy your books, right? But I'll tell you what you can do besides that if you have enjoyed this quest, right? What you can do is send her 8 dragons, because Mims says 7, so that means there's 8 total, right? What I want you to have, each one of them, right? Just take her, transport her to Disney in the Star Wars section, right? No one's going to argue with her living there now. She has 8 dragons, okay? There is no security to get you to leave now, Becca. You have 8 dragons, right? And with a bunch of Rohan Josh? Is that how did I pronounce that right?
Rohan Josh, yeah.
Rohan
Yeah.
Josh. I'm amazed I pronounced that right. I butcher names over here all the time. Thanks for having an easy one, Becca. Right?
Yeah.
And just a bunch of dark Milky Ways, right? So she could sit, live in the Star Wars world with 7 dragons. Ain't nobody gonna pick on her, right? Now, if you didn't enjoy this quest, man, why are you here? Really? And like, why didn't you? Becca has given such great advice. I'm slightly offended if you didn't enjoy this quest, to be real honest. For one, the fact that, Becca, you've been so informative and given such great advice. 2, why are you hate watching anything? We covered that earlier in the quest.
Yeah, we kind of did.
You shouldn't do that. We literally touched on that subject like 20, 30 minutes ago. You should have turned it off then if you weren't enjoying it. But if for some reason you hung around and you're looking at Becca like, man, I just really, really, really don't like her. What I want you to do is Shilob? What is a Shilob? Why are y'all?
Shelob. It's the spider from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. Well, you send her like
scary one.
We'll say
Spiders.
15 Shelobs, right? 15 Shelobs, right? Just covered in coffee. I don't know how that happened. Make it happen. It won't be that bloody hard, right?
Covered in coffee.
Just to web her up. Turn on. Oh, I hope I'm right, but it seems to be fairly hated amongst pretty much all Star Wars fans. So turn on some Christmas mall music, and then Episode 9 playing in the background.
Oh no, I like Rey though, so maybe.
Oh, so look, never mind.
You did episode 3. Episode 3, like maybe.
Episode 3, that's the one that you hate?
I don't hate any of the Star Wars.
Okay, that's the one you dislike the most, because I've never met a Star Wars.
That's the one I don't rewatch. Yeah, that's the one I don't rewatch 2 or 3. But
Okay, I was trying to run through my head because me and my boy, I've recently got him watching Star Wars, and I think it was episode 2 is where Anakin kind of flips on the Tusken Raiders, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't like that part and never wanted to watch it again because it's really sad. But I hope y'all come back and watch more of the questionnaire. Yeah. That didn't happen. Don't edit that, Larry, because it really happened, right? But again, I hope you all watch more of the questionnaire. Click the links in the description. There's all kinds of stuff down there you can check out, right? Besides that, I just want you all to do 3 things. 1, always give it that thumbs up. 2, always get your comic on, right? Read. Pick up some. Make sure you have something that's words in front of your face and it's not always a screen all the time. Now, with that said, I'm going to get off this screen. Have a good night, y'all.
Thanks so much for hopping on board and listening to the questionnaire.
Keep a listen out to these crazy guys.
The questionnaire.
I missed something.
Like and subscribe.
You're drunk. Go home.
Thanks for checking out the questionnaire.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.